Okay.
Dude, the old SpongeBob seasons were great. But go ahead, Chris.
Welcome back to the channel. This is Popcast, episode 6. This week, we're going to talk about Facebook possibly changing their name, the new GTA Trilogy getting a release date, some more info, and a few new trailers for movies and games coming out. I'm the host, Chris. We got Mattman on the line.
What's up?
He got a new mic. We got Thor, also known as Fran.
Hi.
So much energy. We got Dan Schwam.
What's up? It's Schwame.
Schwamnay. And the returning champ, Timmy, Blockbuster time.
Thanks for having me on, Chris.
2 weeks in a row.
I know.
Champ.
He really liked it. I'll tell you. He was excited. All right. So this week, we want to start out with the social media stuff. Get that out of the way first. So Mark Zuckerberg stated that Facebook is changing its name to adapt to their metaverse, or whatever he called it, where they want to change their business model from just social media to other things. They're set to change their name as early as 10/28 to signal its intention to grow beyond social media. Should they change their name, and does it really matter anymore? I mean, people know what Facebook is. We talked about brand recognition last week with FIFA and soccer and EA. I mean, is it a big deal?
I think
Well, EA lost FIFA, just to let you know that.
I was gonna say I think it's like his play to become was it megalomaniacal? Am I saying that right? It's like an absolute supervillain.
Maniacal. Where he's trying to take over the world.
Listen,
Yeah,
Zuckerberg's
it's
a
fucking
lizard, all
weird.
right? We already
It's
know
so
this.
creepy what he's the metaverse. Did you see it came along with like the people are quoting this book called Metaverse, or like it's about like how like corporations take over the world and they force people into this virtual world, and like the
100%.
name is called Metaverse in the book. Like you would think they would do a little bit of research before they decide that's their name.
Yeah,
Hey.
I agree.
I thought they were changing their name to escape like the controversies that they've had over the years.
Well, that's what
I
some
mean,
other
it's not gonna
people
matter. We still know
suggested.
who it is.
So they had
Yeah.
a lot of negative publicity lately, saying that it caused teens to go into depression and people to have suicidal thoughts and stuff. And so some people
Yeah.
were saying they're changing their name, trying to basically rebrand to get away from that image.
It's like Bar Rescue. It's like a shitty bar. It's like, oh, let's just change the name. We don't want that reputation anymore.
Just
Yeah,
dump it
but
off.
I love that reference. I've been watching a ton of Bar Rescue lately.
Yeah, it's a classic rebranding. They're trying to distance themselves from what they were. I think Matt's onto something with the metaverse. That's them laughing in our face because it does strike home. But let's be honest, if we're concerned about people getting depressed because of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever have you, it's not going to change because of the name. It's still the same situation. You can paint Rust whatever you want. It's still Rust. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Did they say anything about rebranding Instagram too, since they own them as well?
I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know if that's in the works too or not.
But think about it, Dan. The same concept applies. I could change you instead of going vertical feed, we can go left and right.
Yeah.
I could change the colors. You're still going to sit there and look at people posting their pics about these these perfect bodies that are not attainable, to make me depressed about who I am. That I'm going to eat donuts every day.
Didn't they try
come
to didn't they try to eliminate the likes on Instagram already to get
I
away
wish
from
they-
that whole negative body image thing?
Yeah,
I heard
Matt,
they
you
were
know what
doing
I
that on
want them to do?
Facebook, right? Where you can't have
Yeah.
the thumbs down.
I
Which is
want the
insane.
thumbs down. Oh, I want the
We
thumbs
need
down
it.
so
I
bad.
I heard
on
it's
YouTube was
there.
talking
I
about
would
getting
hate
rid of
on
it
It's
too.
there, but
people.
I want a dedicated dislike button. I want a button to let them know, like,
Dedicated.
I'm not even gonna hold it in to like go to the I don't really like this, but I want them to know
I mean-
how much I hate.
I mean, their
this post.
dislike button is basically the angry face. Like usually when
It's
people
so
dislike something,
dumb.
it's like the
So
angry
dumb.
face.
I
Well,
want a
YouTube-
dedicated dislike
YouTube
button.
uses
You're-
thumbs down, and they were talking about getting rid of that,
Yeah.
saying that it's negative to content
well, yeah,
creators.
no, it's negative to YouTube's rewind. That's why.
Time out
Yeah.
though.
I can see it.
So wait, two things. One, Matt, I 1000% agree with you. I don't want a thumbs down though. I want the middle finger. Like I want it to be the middle finger icon.
Not just,
As
an,
offensive
not
as
just an
possible.
emoji. I want them to say like you get a
Yeah.
notification that says like Tim Rosado said "fuck you." Like,
Yeah.
I want it to be like that.
I want you to feel my wrath. And then the other portion though, like YouTube eliminating that, this is just another classic, hey, let's be super sensitive to everyone. I mean, what do they think they do in market research? The no's are just as important as the yes. Like Come on.
I agree.
Yep.
So we'll see what their name ends up being. Apparently, it's a closely guarded secret. Even people high up have no idea. So,
Oh,
all right. Well, next up, we had the GTA Trilogy trailer dropped. Now we get a lot of the info. We talked about this the last couple weeks. I know it keeps coming up, but they actually released the information now. The game is going to retail for $70 and be available on November 11th, next month. And then a physical version is going to be released on December 7th for Xbox, Switch, PC, PS4, Series X, but there's no mention of the PS5 physical version. Now, there is a standalone version, so anyone that has Game Pass can jump right in and play San Andreas on November 11th at no extra cost. And anyone that has PS Now can jump in and play Grand Theft Auto 3 on December 7th. These games will have updated visuals, modern controls such as targeting, lock-on, updated weapons, radio stations, mini-map, trophy achievements. Switch supports gyro aim, touch controls, touch zooming. PC supports NVIDIA DLSS. It sounds like Rockstar threw a lot into this. And I seen the trailer. I don't know if any of you seen it.
I saw it too.
It doesn't look bad. It seems like they did
mean,
something. It's not as good as the mods, but
I'm still disappointed, at least in the graphics department. Like, yeah, it's an improvement, but like, it would have been nice if it was using the GTA 5 engine, like with the older games. And to my knowledge, they're not doing that. Like, the graphics look better, but not that great. And I think one of the reasons why is because they're pushing out on mobile devices too, and you need to make the graphics weaker for those devices.
I could see that only because we all know that the Switch can't perform to the level
And
of
that
like
too, the Switch.
of the others, of PC, Xbox.
I'm watching
So
the trailer right now. It looks very arcadey.
Yeah,
It
it's
does.
so arcadey. I'm
It's
watching the
got-
same thing.
yeah, it got a little bit more of a cartoony look to it. I kind of like that they put work into it though. We seen just a couple months ago,
You're right.
like Nintendo just re-released the same thing they had, like Super Mario 64 re-released on the Switch is still the 64. It's not even widescreen. Now I'm not saying that this is a great package. I mean, if you played the games and bought them already, is it worth it? Maybe not. But they did do work to it. They tried to do something. They tried to update everything and add a lot into it. So
wait, go
So-
back real quick. You said gyro controls. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah, they
but
said the Switch
does
will
that
support
does
gyro
that mean
aiming.
I have to? Do I have to do that? Is that how?
No,
I can,
no,
can I,
it's an option.
It's optional.
That's like the accelerometer, like turning your whole switch to aim, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yeah, you use the handheld switch
Stupid-ass
to aim.
motion
Yeah.
control. Get out of here.
I agree. I'm not a fan of it, but it's nice that they actually took it into consideration and support that.
Yeah.
Along with the touch controls, and you can like zoom in on the map. You can use the menus with the touch controls.
At the very least, it seems like they put more work into this than Nintendo did with that Mario package, because that was a complete ripoff.
Oh, a lot more. I mean, right off the bat on Series X and PS5, you can run the game at 4K 60, which, if you look back at those Super Mario games that Nintendo just released, it's still the same resolution and frame rate that it was back on the original systems.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they added stuff. I mean, is it worth it? I don't know. I'm definitely going to at least try San Andreas.
I'll probably get it
on
on
Game
sale for
Pass.
sure. Do you
So-
know if San Andreas has multiplayer capability? I can't remember.
I don't think it did.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think they added that,
that
until
would be
Grand
pretty
Theft Auto
awesome
4.
if they. Yeah, that would have been awesome though if they did add it in the re-release, but it is what it is.
Hey, I have a question for you guys. So it's going to be when they say the three is the trilogy, it's San Andreas, Miami Vice, and what else?
It's
3.
So it's 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Remember
So
3?
ignore
I
the
think,
first two.
I think
because
Timmy
those were
broke his
topped out.
finger over that.
Yeah, you broke my finger, you dick.
It was a
I
fight.
wanna
All
hear
right,
that
it was an
story.
accident.
Wait.
Yeah.
Timmy, you wanted to play another game, and Chris was like, "No, I'm playing." Didn't he like get mad and break your
No,
finger?
it's even better than that. We're going to air this out for the whole podcast world to
Okay.
know. We were playing a game. I had a football game later that day. Chris literally played this mission like 25 times.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 times. 5 times. Was getting upset.
It was my
Gave
turn
me the
again.
controller finally. I went and I beat it on the try, and I was kind of pointing my finger in his face, and he got pissed and just grabbed my finger and broke it.
I remember it differently, but I did
Dude,
break his finger. The facts are still the
remember-
facts. His finger was broken.
It's,
Wait, so I have a small deviation though on the Grand Theft Auto thing.
Yeah.
You know, Rockstar Games, big company, it's pretty cool. You guys ever look at like their portfolio of what they put out? Have you ever done that? You ever
Yeah,
kind of
why?
just
What do
gone
you
through
mean?
the games? Well, I'm looking at like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What a hit, right? In 2004.
Yeah.
Holy God.
Oh yeah, they're very
This
slow.
place. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
really slow. The
they-
last thing that came out was Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they're notorious for like in the video game world. I used to listen to these like video game podcasts all the time where they'll just tell like any kind of outlet, we're doing what we want when we feel like doing it. We might come out with San Andreas trailer, or like say if it was San Andreas, we might come out with that trailer, you know, at E3, or we might just release it on a Tuesday. We don't care. We're not listening to anybody. We do what we
Yeah.
want. I
yeah,
mean,
I give them
and they
credit.
can
I
kind
like
of
that.
they can kind of live off that now, especially considering how much goddamn money they have milked out of GTA 5.
I knew
I
that
mean,
was
they,
coming
they
up.
were the highest grossing game
Yeah,
in the
but-
first day of launch in 2013.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
It's
back.
only
I'm
grown
gonna
since
back
then.
GTA. Well, not GTA, but Rockstar a little bit because at least they put time into their
Oh
game.
yeah, we
They
talked
make
about
a
this a
high.
couple
I'm
episodes
talking about
ago.
Red Dead. Like yeah, we said
Yeah.
about Red Dead. I didn't really like the game, but a lot of people loved it, and they took a lot of time in the
I've-
making
Yeah,
of
they
the game.
definitely put a
Nothing
lot
bad
of
to say about
details
the
into the
studio.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You know,
that allows them to give you the FU. Hey, I'll do this when I
I mean,
want to do
it's
it.
similar to how Valve, whenever they kind of got Steam off the ground, they were just like, "We're gonna do whatever the hell we feel like now.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can say because we kind of control it."
And
you
you're
know,
all
like-
waiting
Yeah.
for us to make a move.
Yeah,
But what
You
I have to
ever,
say in their defense
yeah.
is that, yeah, they take time to put these products out, but when they put it out, it's usually generally a good, well-received product. It's not like, you know,
Oh, they-
Cyberpunk
they
was.
totally botched their GTA Online on GTA 5, and no one was upset. We were like,
Well,
"Whatever,
online
fix
was
it.
botched.
We'll give you
I
some,
was upset
We'll give you
about
some
it.
time." We
But-
basically all said, "We'll give you some time. Figure it out. Do what you need to do."
Listen,
And
the
And we'll buy the
online
game
was
3
botched,
more times.
but the single player
still
and the
bought it.
story and
Yeah, I still bought
everything
it
worked
3
well.
more times.
I agree.
I don't know,
Single
there's some
player was
good stuff
flawless.
on here, man.
It's all
Look
good.
at this. So I gotta say, one of the games that they make, and I'm sorry, you know, Brian Bobley isn't here. Max Payne 2, man, 2003.
Oh my God!
They made
You
that
and
game-
Brian will never let that game go.
Oh, I will never let it go. That was.
Didn't
We gotta
they
have
also-
a
I played the
playthrough one
third one. I
day.
liked it.
Didn't
I
they
like the
also
third
make
playthrough.
what was that one controversial game? It was like Manhunt or
Manhunt,
something. Didn't they make
yeah.
that?
Yeah, they did. 2008.
Where you would
That
wear
was
a
a brutal
microphone,
game.
and if you talk, the bad guys could actually hear you in the game.
What was so controversial? Is it just
It was
like how
just
gruesome it
extremely
was?
violent, like the way.
Yeah,
he
because
killed
you were
people.
like
I mean, you
a
fuck a
criminal.
prostitute and kill her in their other games. Who cares? Like,
That's
Sure.
not that bad, man. That's fine.
That's why it's prostitute.
We're okay
No
with
one
that.
cares.
Hey,
It's Vegas,
on a
it's
side
legal.
note, can I just throw this out real quick? Sorry to get off topic, but in Far Cry 6, you kill a lot of people. Okay, you're basically creating a revolution against the country and just murdering lots and lots of people. But a lot of the reviewers were mad that they have cockfighting in the game. You actually have a chicken and you fight
Oh
another
my
chicken
God, get
like
the
Mortal
fuck over
Kombat.
yourself.
But that's what they were mad about, not the fact that you
It's
murder
Not even real
humans with
animals. They're not even real
flamethrowers.
It's fake. It's it's ones and zeros we're killing. Get over yourself.
But I
It's
just
Yeah,
I
not
had to throw
real.
that out there because I just think
Oh,
that's
dude.
hilarious that people were
Love to
even
sit
mad
down with
about
those
that.
guys just to get time to. Fuck
I got a
off.
question for you though. So, when did the first Grand Theft Auto come out?
I mean, like the
95,
90s.
97?
I want. Yeah, I'd say it was real early.
It was late
Yeah,
90s.
99 was 99 was London.
Yeah,
That was
well,
the
yeah.
London
So
version.
I believe it was
Okay.
97 the first Grand Theft Auto came out. The second one came out in 99 along with the first London expansion pack, which was London 1969.
Didn't the
And
first
then-
two come out on like PS1 and like PC? Like
And
it was a long
PC,
time ago.
yeah. And then they released another expansion pack to London. It was London 1961. But because people were giving them crap, because like the second game in London were a lot like the first game. They didn't really change much. So a lot of
Yeah.
people gave them a lot of trouble about it. So what they did was they released London 1961 as a free expansion to PC players. And then they came out with Grand Theft Auto 3 in 2001.
That was obviously a huge one going 3D like that.
Yeah, that was a big jump. They changed a lot on that. Speaking of Dan, I wanted to ask you. So this week they also released Resident Evil 4 on VR. Is Dan going to buy this game? You bought it several
No.
times
I know
before.
I can't because I have a Rift S and it's exclusive to their new Quest 2 headset. Matt has that. And I'm not
Look
going
at
to spend
me.
$300 on a
Look at
fucking
me.
headset for
I
it.
can buy it.
I don't
Everyone
blame
said,
you.
Oh, you should wait to get the Rift. Look at me with the Quest 2.
So then Matt, are you going to buy Resident Evil 4 on VR? so
I
we
guess
can all
for the
play
sake,
it.
yeah, for the sake of you guys playing it, I will.
I
I'll
ain't
buy it.
playing it. I'm out.
Oh,
I'll play
dude.
it. I'll
Sounds
play the
fun.
whole
Fran,
thing
it's not
myself.
that
Yeah,
bad.
you know what? Is it?
All
When does
right.
it come out, guys?
It
I
already
don't
came
want
out.
It came out
scary
this
week.
movies.
Oh, so
I'm
that means
definitely
you want
not
me to
playing
charge my
Resident Evil
Oculus
in
tonight,
VR.
buy it
Yes.
tomorrow,
Fran, I
bring it
will.
to
I
Alex and
will hang
Nikki's
out
You
your
house?
Yes.
scary movie.
You
Yeah,
can.
that
Is that what
sounds
you
like
want
a
me to
plan.
do?
Do it.
I mean, I'll do that. I'll
In other
download it
news,
tonight and
For
bring it
those
over.
of those that like playing Doom, they released a Horde mode. It's coming out 10/26. Among Us, which everyone wanted me and Fran to play, is going to be releasing for console on December 14th. So we'll be able to
sweet.
jump
Wait,
on
it didn't
Xbox
release
and play
yet?
it.
I thought it did. Okay.
No, so
Alright.
we could get
They
it on the
said
computer.
July of 2021 it was supposed to come out to console.
Yeah, I
and
guess it got delayed because of COVID.
Well, you know what?
Hey.
It's 4 guys. It's 4 people working. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's a small
Wow.
development team.
3, 2,
Next, we got
1, you.
Forza Horizon 5 is set to, you can preload it now, but man, is the file size large. Now, I played
It's 103 gigs.
Wait,
right?
Horizon 5's coming out.
Horizon
Yeah,
5 is
that's awesome. I'll
released
play it.
next month in 2
Yeah,
weeks or
it's
3
trying to
weeks.
Honestly,
compete.
play that.
It's competing with Duty with how big the file size is.
Yeah, it
Isn't it?
is. On Xbox One, it's 116 gigabyte. On Series
Jesus.
S, X, and PC, it's 103 gigabytes. So I'm like, man, these file sizes are humongous.
I guess I gotta buy that NVMe drive.
Yeah,
That's why I
know,
got
right?
a 2 terabyte drive, dude. All these games are just
I have a
taking up
4
so much
terabyte
space.
hard drive, but like everyone's telling me to upgrade.
Well, speaking of storage space, Microsoft announced that they're going to have bigger storage this fall for the Xbox Series S and X. Now, I bought the 1 terabyte memory card that cost
Yeah, me too.
$220. But they're coming out with a 512 gigabyte card that's $140 and a 2 terabyte drive that's $400. Now, this sounds like a lot, and it's proprietary, but now PS5, you can also upgrade your SSD, but it's similar pricing. Online, you can find a 500 gigabyte for about $100, and then 1 terabyte ranges from 150 to 440, depending on the company and the brand and all that. And Samsung's offering a 2 terabyte for $385. And my question is, with these games getting so large and these hard drives being so expensive, like, what do you do? Like, is it too much money for the storage? Is it worth
Just-
buying?
They're waxing you. They're waxing you.
Well, I
Like,
mean, what
that's-
option do you
that's the
have?
only
With
answer.
Xbox, you don't really have a choice.
I don't.
or
That's
PS5.
insane. Those are insane prices.
Yeah, I agree. Those are like really
I mean,
expensive.
I was
PS5
looking
gives you a
at-
little
but that's like
choice.
the normal going rate. Even if you look at the gigabytes that
No.
they sell on your phone and on your
Oh,
Xbox, like they're all about the same price. Now I don't know what a PC. I mean, maybe you can get a
I was
cheaper
gonna say,
one.
Dan just sent me an NVMe drive that came preloaded with Battlefield 5 for $160.
It was 160. It came with a $60 copy of Battlefield
Yeah.
2042.
So take that $60 out of it. We're talking $100 for a terabyte.
Yeah.
So like you
I
said,
agree.
380 for 2 terabytes. Yeah, that's kind
For
of pricey.
a much faster drive than you guys will get on Xbox.
Yeah, but if you look at the market for where Xbox, even your phone and everything, that's what terabyte is selling for.
I mean, if you look at Switch,
I
even
know that's what I'm saying.
you go from
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
32.
These proprietary drives are just waxing you. It's
Yeah.
it's a gross price. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well, even PlayStation, they offer the choice to have a multitude of different companies where you can buy their drives, but it's
Yeah,
still
you can install
similar
an NVMe
pricing.
in the PS5. I know, like you can straight up install a PC NVMe in a PS5. Can you do that for the Xbox or?
No,
Or no?
in order to have the high speed, like download, upload, read speed,
Yeah.
you have to have their memory card. It works directly with the system, like how the
Still got
system's memory is.
612 gigabytes. I'm
Dude, that
good.
reminds me of the Xbox 360 thick hard drives. You remember that shit? You like slap it on the side of the console.
Or even the PlayStation cards from PS1 that had what,
Yeah.
8 megabytes? That's like
Yeah.
nothing. Could you imagine that now? How many of those you'd have laying around?
Remember taking those over your friend's house, like the memory cards, like you pop it in to like do your save. Now it's like everything's over the cloud now.
And since we're on Microsoft, I figured we would roll right into Game Pass. Apparently, Game Pass subscriptions have slowed down this year. They only grew 37%, missing their target of 47 some percent. Is this something Microsoft should be worried about? I mean, the execs want to push Game Pass growth. They even offer bonuses for Microsoft leadership teams if their goals are met. Like, is this something
I
that's
can I
worrisome?
say Can I say it's not worrisome? I think maybe they're thinking they were getting that 47% because they're pushing for Japan, and maybe Japan's not biting as much as they thought.
That could be, but I just heard today that the Series S and X have outsold Xbox One in Japan, which is their own numbers. Sorry, but they outsold it 4-1, so they got a 400% increase on sales.
So maybe their own country's
Wait,
letting
wait,
them down.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't
say
know. I
that one
didn't
more
look
time.
into it.
You said
So-
the S and X are outselling the Xbox
original.
One?
So Xbox One hit a certain
Well,
number.
that's-
The
yeah, of course
Series
they're
S and
going
X
to.
are doing 4 times what that one did, which
Well,
isn't
yeah,
much, but it's a
with the
lot
same-
more than what they
wait,
did.
I'm sorry. You mean in the same
Like
life
when
cycle?
Xbox One
Yeah.
got released to when these got released.
I thought you meant right now. I was like, of
No,
course
no,
it's
no.
gonna outsell.
In the same
Okay.
time period when
Okay.
Xbox One was released,
We're
In the
Series
giving
S and
Japan-
X.
span of the life.
We're giving
Yeah.
Hey,
Japan
that's-
the hand-me-downs,
You know
and
what
they
that
don't
is?
even want
Wait,
them.
no. You know what? Did that? I don't think that's a direct result of Xbox. Being better or someone making the smart decision. It's probably because these people want consoles and the PlayStation 5 is just,
No.
it's just
Sold out, yeah.
It's just impossible to get.
That could
Well,
be,
and
or
the PS5
maybe
is
their
like their home
strategy's
console,
working.
too.
I mean, we talked
Yeah.
about it, what, 2 or 3 episodes ago,
Maybe.
where Phil Spencer said every day they're pushing
listen,
to get
I
Japanese
think-
games
How
out.
many
I think I'm gonna
consoles
look at
have
it-
they
I'm gonna
sold
look at it from,
compared
like,
to PS5 in Japan, though? Like, do you know? Do you have those numbers?
I don't have the numbers.
It's
I'm not
probably
sure.
significantly lower. Like, yeah, it's probably higher than the Xbox One. That's great, but like the PS5 is probably crazily outselling them, and because that's like their home country, basically.
Yeah, it might be,
No,
but
that's
they-
Nintendo's home country.
but they
Well-
are doing better.
Yeah.
Hey, I got another one for you though. I know it's home turf and everything like that, but the comparison of the two, whenever Xbox, one was released in comparison to Series X and all that, was that during 2019 when it came out?
What, Xbox One?
No,
that was
the
like
latest.
2013.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
2013.
Xbox One. When was S?
This one
That was last
year,
fall. Yeah,
last November.
it was almost a
Okay,
year
so-
ago exactly.
You mean in the heart of COVID?
A little, yeah, I guess the heart of COVID. It was November of
All right,
last
so-
year.
And I know that I'm saying, hey, COVID, you could have went PlayStation or Xbox, but at the same time, in comparison, people were trapped inside. They were trying to find something to do, and they have kids, and they had to satisfy them. And having 2 little kids of my own, I probably would have done the same thing and bought them some consoles.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe that is what pushed the numbers up. Even I'm not sure. It's interesting though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know how I bought a ton of video games during COVID just because nothing else to
Me too.
Dude,
I agree. with
yeah,
that.
like
I bought
everyone
GTA
has.
5 and played an hour of
And
it.
you regretted it.
Oh, here we
I
go
regretted
again.
every minute of it.
well, I'm only
This
and I'm
mother.
only comparing Xbox. The only comparison I'm making is Xbox to Xbox, right? I'm not saying. I'm sure PlayStation also saw a surge. I'm just thinking.
They probably
if
would
you
have
compare
saw
this
more
to-
if there wasn't a chip shortage, but that's the problem. Like they're still hard to find.
Yeah.
The
Dude, I
consoles.
bought a new car, and you know how like the new cars are coming with the wireless charging. I didn't
Yeah.
get a wireless. They didn't have enough chips to give me a wireless charger in my car.
That's ridiculous.
That's
How
wild.
bad it was.
That's crazy.
You should have been like, "Am I getting that at a later date then, or what?"
Yeah, I was like, can I get a discount? Well, they gave me
So,
I got a
I'm
discount,
guessing
so.
I'm guessing that no one's making these chips because of COVID. Is that why there's
No,
a
it's
shortage?
just there's a shortage on the dies. To make
Yeah.
games.
So this
All right.
week they also announced that they're releasing the Nintendo 64 and Sega controllers for the Switch. They're up for pre-order. They're $50 each. and they're
Nintendo
shipping
64.
on the
Sorry to
25th.
cut you off, but that controller was terrible. Like I'm sorry, that's for
So
nostalgia's
bad.
sake.
I
It
guess,
was like the
yeah, I
alien
guess people
controller
like
with
it.
3 grips. It was so
It,
weird.
Yeah.
was cool for
Wait,
its
wait,
time, but
time
you're
out.
gonna charge me $50 to buy one for the Switch?
Yeah, to buy
I
it
bought
again.
Nintendo, they're greedy.
I
They're
bought
gonna
a-
keep doing that.
A cheap wired $25 Mario style Pro controller. If I ever want to use it, that's it. All you need. It's a Switch.
I bought a $50 one. It's like an Xbox style
and I have
wireless one.
GameCube style Joy Cons. They're elite.
I
I
saw
love it.
them.
I'm not changing them.
Well, it's funny how like at least I'm criticizing the N64 thing, but meanwhile, didn't Xbox come out with the original Xbox
The Duke.
controller, that
Yeah,
thick ass
the Duke.
controller?
They did.
The
They had all
classic.
the wireless Duke.
Oh,
Well,
man.
Yeah, they did.
They also allow you to use the 360 controller on the new one, which everyone loves. So that everyone's been buying the 360
Hated the
one.
360
Yeah.
controller after using
What?
one
It's like the
controller.
smaller one.
I'm not a fan of the little guy.
Well, a lot of people like
He
it.
likes the Duke.
Well, some people have little hands, Matt. All right.
Yeah.
You know what they say
listen
about
to
big
them.
hands, guys. You know what they say about big hands.
But listen, so this is
Big
in
gloves.
response to their upgraded
gloves.
membership where you can play Nintendo 64 and Sega games if you pay them $50 instead of $20 a year. So I don't know. I could see people buying them.
They're
I
still
wouldn't.
lacking basic online stuff though, like
Yeah,
features
I
that
know.
Xbox and PC
And,
has.
and
You
third
should
party
need a
titles
mobile
are-
app to talk to people. Like it's
I
a
agree
joke.
100%.
But
They're
listen, and
half-assing it in the wrong area.
And
You know-
third party titles are still bad. Find me the last Switch game that you bought that was third party that you liked.
Exactly. Like Chris bought
Phoenix
Mortal Kombat.
Rising.
It didn't run
It was
well.
terrible.
It didn't look good, and
It
it was
was
like always
terrible.
online.
Mortal Kombat on the
Only-
Switch was a nightmare.
The only third party game I can recommend on the Switch would be Stardew Valley. I think that's the perfect place to play it. Outside of that, there's nothing I can recommend besides all their first party stuff.
Yeah.
I liked Phoenix Rising wasn't bad. That worked pretty well on the Switch. That was like a Greek mythology game.
I'm a big fan of like the Greek pantheon.
I mean, all we can bring up is like The Witcher as an example. It was what 540p, all low settings. It ran
Yeah,
like
it was
dog shit.
terrible.
It's like,
You know,
come
my
on,
buddy
CD
tried to get me to
Projekt
buy
Red.
that,
Like you're
and I
just
was like,
greedy. Like
"Mm."
you never should have released it on there.
They
at that
should
rate.
have. They messed that up just like they did Cyberpunk. They botched both of those.
Yeah.
And just on as a side note, CD Projekt Red announced that the PS5 Series XS upgrade that was supposed to come out this year for Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk won't be released until next year sometime now. Another delay. Like they just been fumbling through things here lately. They haven't been
hold
doing
on.
so well.
Can we be fair to them though a little bit, because a lot of their delays and problems started with COVID too. Maybe they're really struggling with that or something over there. Maybe the
That could
country
be.
because they're not American and
They're in Poland.
It's Polish.
yeah, maybe the Polish government's making it very hard for them to do any. Who knows?
That could be. But that
I-
comes back to the issue where you overpromise
Well,
and underdeliver.
I feel like they're partially delaying at least the Cyberpunk game because I think they want to polish it some more before they put it out on the new consoles. That's my theory.
Yeah, I
Because
can
it
see
could
that.
still use some work. It's
Yeah.
still buggy, some performance, and
Here-
maybe they're adding
wait.
more to it.
Time out. Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta step in because Matt, I agree with you, and I'm not going to be insensitive to Poland. So maybe the government is by chance saying that you cannot work, but in all reality, guys, all you need is a freaking computer.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean. Like your remotes, you
Yeah.
got phones. It's 2021. I'm able to consult a facility on how to do something physical via phone. Like
Yeah.
I'm biased
on.
to them, especially though, because they've always been very consumer friendly. Especially with The
Mhm.
Witcher 3, they came out with DLC free, and they even said it's all about you guys playing the game versus us selling it. So I'm just biased to them.
I agree
maybe
with
there
you
is
to a
something going
point.
on internal that, like, you know, because listen, that's the only company I've ever seen come out like they put the booklet in their game. Like, listen, we care about you guys. We want you guys to play our game. We want you to have everything for free. I was cool with that. So I mean,
yeah.
I hate
Yeah,
I hate seeing them getting trashed. That's all.
I'm not trying
No
to trash
trashing, I
them.
just-
They kind of
But-
deserve it, but at the same time, it's like
I'm not even saying they deserve it because I played Cyberpunk on Series X, granted, not the base system, and it worked very well. I didn't have that many bugs or problems even at launch. But my thing is, yeah, with Witcher 3, they had a lot of goodwill for the gamer. But then with Cyberpunk, they just kind of botched a lot. And I'm wondering if it's because of investors. Like when they did Witcher 3, they were a smaller company. Now they
I don't
got a
think
lot
they
more
have those,
investors.
though. I thought they were like, I thought they were pretty much like self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient?
They were an independent company. I didn't think they had investors.
They,
That's why they were
have
able
some
to give
type
away
of
DLC for
board.
free.
They have some type of board of investors because they were talking
they?
about the
Okay.
fact that they had to answer to them last year, and they were wondering if that's why they pushed the game out when it wasn't ready.
Okay.
So I'm not sure
Seems to
exactly
be a
how
lot
it
of the
worked,
reason why
but-
these games get botched is that the investors are upset and they're unhappy. So
Oh,
you would think they'd catch on. Like these people that are paying into these games, they'd catch on. Like, hey, this doesn't work if we put it out broken and people hate it. Let's give
heck
them the
yeah.
time.
What was it? Classic example, Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and bringing it back to
Cyberpunk makes it into
GTA.
every podcast.
Yep.
But bringing it back to GTA though, real quick.
GTA
why-
makes it in every podcast too.
But I'm just saying that's why it's
It
nice.
does.
Take-Two, I don't know if they fight their investors or what, but they're like, no, we're releasing our product when it's ready. And so I give them some credit for that.
Yeah, but GTA has something they can fight with. Their GTA is the #1 selling grossing product of all time in video
Yeah, but
games.
Witcher
Actually,
3 was
is it
one of the
still
biggest
that? Hold on, I'm
products.
gonna look that up. Is it still
No,
that?
I think GTA is still the biggest grossing, but Minecraft has sold the most games.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, moving on to a newer game.
Yeah,
It's slated
Minecraft
to
Tetris.
release. What'd you say?
Yeah, but I think
Minecraft and
GTA
Tetris
has
Year 1 and 2.
but GTA has the biggest gross money make.
See, that's 238 million units sold on Minecraft,
Wow.
and GTA is 150 million units.
Dude, Wii Sports is at 82
Well,
million.
that's Wii consoles sold.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
because it came with the Wii.
Hey,
They're
I gotta tell you,
counting it there, but yeah.
I gotta say something though. I really give it to, Nintendo. We just went on that and talked about them and everything they did with 64 and now the Switch. I've always found them to be so mediocre. Like I don't understand. It's a
Tim,
niche that
I
they're going
agree.
after. Yeah, right? It's a niche that they're going after, right? They're like, oh, we're gonna profit off this and be okay. And if you ever listen to Business Wars podcast and listen to like Nintendo and how neglectful they were, which really made PlayStation so great. It's so interesting to listen to because I just think
PlayStation's
that
entire life started because Nintendo said,
Yeah.
"Go fuck yourself." We don't
Because
care
they
about your
got
disc.
screwed over
They
by
said, "We don't care about your
Nintendo.
disc. Do whatever you want. I don't care."
Yeah.
And Sony's like, "Fine, we'll make the PlayStation." It's
Exactly.
wild.
Yeah,
But
because
they
Nintendo
also-
decided
they
to go
also
with
sold
Philips
more
CDI.
Well, besides the PS2, take the PS2 out of the equation. It's like the next 4 are Nintendo products, right? For the highest selling console of all time. It's like the Wii, the
I
DS.
I think it's unfair to just say the highest or just like the quantity of consoles because how much did the Wii cost in comparison to an Xbox or
Yeah.
That's a good point, too.
But
Yeah.
the barrier to entry for the Wii and the DS was super low. Like you could be a 3 or 4 year old human and play those because they were really easy for you to to get into. Look, I mean, my niece plays on a DS all the time. My nephews love their Switch, but once they get old enough, they want PS5s this year. So like now they're old enough to kind of switch over. But
The cost of toys.
I can
go
tell
up.
you right now, my sisters have spent like tons of money on Nintendo the past few years because they bought them all DS.
Yeah, and
Big
you're right.
switches.
That's a fair point because the demographic is so diverse for what they're offering versus
And
the cost.
kids see
Gotcha.
those games that appeal to them, especially on the Switch and the DS. They see those younger style games and they're like, I want that. I'm all over that. And that's why Nintendo sells so well. So I mean, like they're really good to like that market, but for like adults like us, I there's very few games I'm like, I gotta have that right now.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think they do cater to a younger audience, and I also think Timmy has a point though. Yes, the DS is one of the highest selling, I guess you could call it, console ever.
Oh, you're
but the price
exactly
point's
right.
a lot cheaper than a PS5 or Series X.
And on top of that, have you seen the iterations of the DS? They've
Oh,
changed they changed
Even
one
Game Boy.
minute feature. It's happening now with the new OLED Switch. They changed one thing, the screen. That's it. It's
Well, they
everything
did that
else
when
the same.
They also
But
released the
they're
Switch
gonna
Lite.
sell again. It's gonna sell again. It's gonna become a hard thing to get this holiday season because everyone's gonna want one. They're doing it again.
Well,
They're
they
good at
always
it.
do that. They always release different iterations of the same thing, just like the Switch Lite. All they did was change the color and make it a little bit smaller.
And then they said, "Oh,
tons
you
of
can't
people
use our
want it.
dock with that."
Yeah, it was mobile only.
They said, "Hey, your Joy-Cons don't detach, and you can't use our dock." And people are like, "I want it right fucking now."
And if your Joy-Con drifts, you have to turn in the whole fucking thing and not just the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, that's a good
Seems
point.
like
Instead of
happened
just
to
sending
you,
back the
Dan.
controller,
Like-
you're gonna send the system back.
Dan, the way you said that, it seems like that happened to you.
He knows from
No.
experience.
No, I just know it would be a thing because they didn't fix the Joy-Con drift. I'm like, I know it's gonna happen, and then unfortunately, people have to send the whole damn console back, and they can't play any games.
My big thing with my Joy-Cons is I don't know why it keeps happening, but the rubber pieces would fall off all the time.
That's because you got those
Nintendo-
weak
Nintendo-
GameCube ones.
Matt,
No, the
Nintendo has a
GameCube
free
ones
RMA
haven't done
thing.
that.
I don't know if you knew that or not. My Joy-Cons drifted, and I was able to ship it to them for free.
Did not know that. Well, I mean,
Get
like,
it all fixed.
my original Joy-Cons are hiding underneath my entertainment center. I don't know what happened to them. They're covered in dust, I think.
All right, well, moving off of Nintendo.
Wait. I looked up this GTA for you real quick.
Oh, what's up?
It said they've generated 985 million in revenue as a series
Man,
in the
and it costs-
fiscal 2021.
And just this
Just-
year. Holy
It's because
fuck.
shark cards, dude. People were
Dude,
idiots and
online
just
is
buying
killing
that
it.
shit.
That's
And-
Holy
amazing.
shit.
And
That's
then
fucking
people
So
were
wait,
wondering why
read it one more
GTA
time.
6 ain't coming out yet.
How much did they
Holy
make
weird.
again? One more time.
985 million in revenue. So
Just
obviously
this year.
That's
You got
absurd.
me. You definitely shocked me with that. I thought you were talking about like maybe like whenever like they first came out with the shark cards, but you're saying this year alone.
Dude,
Makes sense.
imagine if there's a GTA Online, like GTA 5 Online for mobile. They'd make a shit ton more money. That was the thing.
Well, I
Dan,
wanted to
Dan,
change
I feel like you're
topics.
manifest.
Since you were
And then
saying
it's
that,
saying, well, the article is saying then what? That's why people are wondering where GTA 6 is, and they're saying that
That
why
makes-
would they come out with
makes total
GTA 6
sense.
when they're
They're
still
still milking the cow. that's why.
dominating?
yeah. Well, I mean, they're working on GTA 6. They came out
Yeah,
and said
they
that.
sure
It's in
are.
development, but it's going to be a while. They take their time making their games.
Dude, they're making millions of dollars a day
Oh.
with a
But-
game that's 8 years old. Okay, go ahead. No, we can move on.
Well, I was going to
Keep
say,
going.
speaking on what Matt was saying, I just read an article probably 3 hours ago. They said Microsoft's working on a new MMORPG where they want it to be they want you to be able to play it on any system, but not just like cloud gaming like I play on my phone, but they want you kind of like New World for Matt. So they want you to be able to play the
Listening.
game on your PC or your console and play the missions and stuff. And then when you're out of the house, have you be able to do smaller tasks and chore like missions on your
That's
phone
insane.
or like smaller
Some,
device.
I know,
Wait,
I know.
I was
WoW
just thinking
allows
about
that
this.
on their mobile
Uncle Bob's
device.
gonna get real mad at Matt if
Wait,
they
listen
come
to
out
me.
with that.
Listen to me. I was just thinking about this. Like I was sitting there. I was sitting at work, and I was like, man, it'd be nice if I can go like maybe mine a little bit. Maybe chop down some trees, get my
Yeah.
mining and logging
See,
up
I-
while
You're
I'm just
obsessed
sitting
with
here.
that.
I
And that
thought
would've
Matt
been
would like
so-
that.
Dude,
To,
that would've been
to
crazy.
answer your question, Chris, like some games already do that, like World of Warcraft. Like you could do like raids and stuff on your computer, and if the tedious shit you can do on your phone, like you can be on the go.
I know
You could like
RuneScape
fish
does
or
too.
something like that. So like it
Well,
does exist already.
I guess that's what Microsoft's pushing for with this new game that's in development. It's top secret. Nobody knows, what universe or what
You know what they
franchise it
should
might
do?
be.
They should try to do whatever company. I have yet to see a like a shooter MMO work. So like I know
Closest
Fallout
one is
76 tried
Destiny,
that,
but
right?
it didn't really like work too well.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
the
yeah, I wouldn't
original,
consider
the
Destiny an
original
MMO 'cause it wasn't really
Destiny was
open
great.
It was kind of. I mean, it was open world in the sense that you could kind of run around those
Eh,
like those maps.
the
and do, like,
original was
little side
kind
quests.
of short. You had to replay a
Dude,
lot.
Oh, I grinded it like how Matt was chopping down trees. I was out there
You were
grinding
chopping
orbs.
down enemies.
It's funny. You
Yeah.
guys, like I said,
No,
I said
I
this
was out
before,
there
you
grinding
guys,
orbs to find better guns.
you guys
Grinding
latched onto
orbs.
that. I said I was chopping
Yeah.
trees one time. You guys
I
latched on
know.
it.
I love it, though.
I
always think of
very
Matt
much
sitting there,
chop it.
Matt's
clicking
one
the
of those
button,
Chinese
chop, chop,
gold
chop.
farmers where he's just chopping away.
I literally don't chop at all.
Hey,
No,
somebody
but-
comes
but-
in.
But
Hey.
it's like that grinding process of the game that you actually don't mind doing. I didn't mind doing it in Destiny to find the better orbs or do like other like smaller challenges that didn't really mean anything.
Yes.
But there was a chance you got a better weapon out of it. I didn't
Yeah,
mind doing all
That's
that.
the thing with those MMOs. Like they have a grind, but the grind has to have meaning. Like, what am I grinding
Yeah.
towards? Like, if
It
it
has to
doesn't
be
have that, then
entertaining and
it's
rewarding.
it's
Oh,
yeah,
God.
exactly.
Just say grind one more time. God.
Grind.
You guys like
Grind.
grind.
Listen,
It's
someone's gonna ask
literally
Fran, "Hey, what's that game New World about?" He's like, I don't know, but you
It's
chop
a
a lot of
grind
trees
fest.
down."
Yeah, you grind every other
It's a
day.
grind fest. You grind people, It's Grinder.
All right, well, moving on to
Oh,
a different
don't
type of
You
game.
gotta chop down a lot of trees and build yourself a cabin and then make it into a castle later in life.
Sounds like Minecraft, actually. But
I
Well,
fucking love Minecraft.
Moving on to a different game, not Minecraft. This week they released a new trailer for Gotham Knights. Now, Gotham Knights is a game where you fight the Court of Owls, but you're not Batman. Batman is supposedly dead, at least from what they show, and you play as either Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing, all of who are technically Robin, or Batgirl. So they give you a few options.
wait,
What?
quick question. I don't know shit about the Batman comics, but doesn't like one of the Robins take over as the new Batman, or am I wrong on that?
Multiple.
Well, they switch a lot of roles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, if you're trying to try to follow the lore of Batman, you're gonna be lost.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a bad time. Okay.
There's a universe where Batman's dad becomes like an evil Joker. It's crazy how
It's kind of like
Yeah.
Marvel.
all over
They've
the
been
place
around
it is.
for a long time,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
restarted and started over
like the
a
new.
lot.
I think they follow the New 52 now, but like there was a point where they got so lost in their own comics that they had to do Crisis on Infinite Earth and like reset everything.
like
So,
reboot everything because it
That's
was so
funny.
tangled.
if there's a story or scenario you can think of, Batman's probably done it. So
Okay.
I think that's why Marvel had Infinity War. But anyway, the question is, can a game this big with such a franchise like that survive without the main character, really?
oh, I
You
didn't mean
don't
to say.
think?
I meant yes, they can. Only because if you play, did you guys play the Arkham games?
I did.
Yeah, I played
like
them. Yeah, I
Timmy
played
played
every
Remember
one
the
of them.
ones where you can control Nightwing and Robin, and how
Yeah,
quickly
I
they
think you could
moved
do
and how
that in
fast that
Arkham
combat
Knight, the
felt.
latest one.
Yeah, like that. Well, that's they always moved a bit quicker than Batman, and they always had like a really cool move set. And I always said like it'd be fun to play a game with just Nightwing, and like now that they're doing it, I'm cool with that. And it seems like they're coming off of like watching the trailer. Is it like the whole like did you play through the last one where he did the if you completed the game 100%, you get the what the hell is it called? Dark Knight Protocol, where he like kills himself. I did air quotes, you can't see them. But like they say Batman's dead, and I think they're just tailing off of that. Where like now
They might
that,
be.
now
They
Robin's
said that
gotta
this
take
took
over.
place in its own like universe, that it wasn't a
So they're
direct
not even
sequel.
well they that video in the trailer looks like it's even the same video as
Yeah, a
when they
lot
did
of
the
people
Nightfall
thought that
That's
it's
the
just picking
Nightfall
up.
Protocol, that's what it's called.
To answer
Where,
your
like-
question, Chris, sorry to cut you off, but
No,
to
you're right.
answer your question, like I don't think you need the main like protagonist. Like using Halo as an example, like ODST and Reach, like they were well received by the community, and neither one you played is the Master Chief. So like it's definitely possible as long as you have a solid game and a decent story. Like it's doable.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't
It's
think of that.
doable, but do you think you would lose sales because there would be
No.
people like, "Oh, Batman's not in the game. I'm not
Is this
buying
made
it."
by Rocksteady?
I forget. I'll have to look it up and see. I'm not sure.
Someone look
But-
it up.
But I have to say, Fran, I don't know, because I think people are going to see that and be like, what? You can't play as Batman? And then right after the game's released, I could see them saying, oh, look, the season 1 DLC, you can be Batman or something coming out in like 3 months.
Oh yeah, things can change, but I'm
Yeah.
saying just from like a
Oh, yeah.
normal
It's
person who played
Rocksteady.
all the Batman games before that maybe you're like, "Oh, Batman's not in this one. Maybe I don't want to even buy it."
It's
Rocksteady did a
Rocksteady
good
though. It's
job.
the same exact.
I never
engine
played any of them, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, dude, Frank, go do yourself a favor, buddy.
Probably one of the best
Super
I'm
superhero
Marvel
games
all day, and
alongside
Marvel
No, I
has
know.
bad video
Listen,
games, and Marvel
listen.
destroyed me.
Batman villains are completely unmatched. Like, there's no better villains than the Batman villains. Go play.
Yeah.
Go
Thanos
play
is
Arkham
awesome.
Knight, Arkham
Listen.
City.
I have to agree with Matt,
Man.
especially the
Play them.
last Arkham
So
game.
good.
That was a really great game. I think it had a little too much
good.
driving
Arkham
in the
Asylum.
Batmobile.
A
That
lot of
wasn't
people
as much
hated that,
fun.
but I didn't mind the tank Batmobile. I actually enjoyed
I
that.
didn't
You know what,
mind
that-
it. It
hold
just
on,
seemed
Dan.
like a lot.
I liked everything about the tank. I cannot fucking stand that the boss fights were used that tank. And it was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
almost every one of them. I'm like, this is insane. I'm
Yeah.
tired. Like, I'm fighting the Red Hood, which is the big bad in this game, and I'm doing it in a goddamn tank. What is that? Why am I
Wasn't-
fighting this motherfucker?
Wasn't
in
the
a
Yeah, I
Red
didn't
tank?
Hood
like
the
that.
1X Robin that is like "fuck you, Batman"?
Well,
Yeah, it
that's
was the
what I
one
said
that
when I
wanted
was
to kill
saying
the
it.
Joker,
So
and he in turn got killed by the Joker. Again, I'm using air
Yeah.
quotes. You can't see them.
yeah. So Robin was Robin. Robin was Nightwing,
There's
and
too
Robin
many
was Red
Robin
Hood.
clones. That's all I know. And then one Robin turns into Nightwing. That's all I know.
Yeah.
It's
My
just
favorite
So-
Robin is Damian Wayne because he's just a dickhead to Batman.
Yeah,
Great.
so you either play as Robin or Batgirl in this game, basically. Oh, actually, I just looked. Fran, you could play Batman Arkham Knight right on Gamepass.
Wait,
It's on there right
Hey,
now.
Wait,
hey, you know what I think's weird though, Chris, is that they're also coming out with another game. Was it Suicide Squad Kill the Superman? You see that it's coming out next year.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
Is
I
that
saw
not
that
the
too.
same thing? Because it's 4 characters.
I think it's the same
Uh,
idea, just
But I'm
different
saying, so
characters and
is
story.
this Batman game a single player experience, or is this also multiplayer with a co-op?
They
Meaning that
said-
everyone gets their own joke. Or
They said there
everyone gets their
would be
own-
co-op, but they don't know. I don't know if it was at launch or if it was after
Because
launch.
I know the The Suicide Squad
coming.
game is like all co-op. They said
Yeah.
it's like strictly co-op. So maybe if they branch off. So if it's a single player experience where I can use every single one of the Batmans and then or Robins and then use Catwoman, I'm down for it. That'd be fun. I think I love it. As long as there's Batman villains in it, I think that's the best part of Batman is his villains. They're completely unmatched.
Well, they're going to have the Court of Owls, which was a series.
Well, that'll
in the
be
comics.
their big bad, but you know that there's going to be there'll probably be side
Yeah.
stories with other
I'm
villains.
sure there'll be those damn Riddler trophies to go and collect again.
Please give me enough. Dude, I used to sit there,
Hey.
I'd throw a podcast on and I'd run around and grab trophies. I love it.
So I got a question real quick though. So like, when's that release date?
It's next year sometime. I forget the exact date. It's
very-
not
Yeah, it says
soon.
20. Oh, that's just, oh, no.
Oh, it
I
won't be
think,
like March.
I think it's like
you're saying,
summer of
July.
next year.
Oh yeah, I was just saying because it's very interesting because you guys just said like the Court of Owls and the Riddler and those are like all the main villains. I just watched the trailer, and the Penguin's heavily in the trailer. I think it's interesting that those three character sets are in this video game, and those are also the ones in the movie that comes out
Oh,
March.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
100%.
Speaking of, they
Oh,
released
wow,
a new
yeah,
trailer
they're
this
probably gonna
week for
kinda-
that movie. What'd you guys think of that? Can
Savage.
Pattinson take over the
I'm
role?
indifferent. I'm very indifferent. See, I'm like a Batman snob. I mean, obviously, my like Xbox name was the Batman, and like I'm a huge Batman snob. So I'll sit there and say I hated it until I watch it. I like Robert Pattinson as an actor. He was great as Cedric Diggory. I never seen Twilight, but they always say like he even came out and said, "I hate that I even did that because I'm stuck as Edward."
Yeah, he
Cullen
was
got
in my mind."
typecast. Yeah.
Yeah, he's typecast. And like he's always said, like, listen, I'm better than that movie. And he's proved it a couple of times. I never watched the movies, but people always say he's great elsewhere. So I'm excited for him as Batman, but please, DC, don't fuck this one up. Like just stop whatever you think you're gonna do, like, figure it out. Because I know that they've stopped filming this and they restarted, so like that worries me. Like
Yeah.
this movie was announced like 3 years ago. And now they're finally putting the trailer out, which it looked all right, but we'll see.
Quick question for you guys. Speaking of the Batman movies, who was your favorite Joker actor over all the years? Because there's been
Heath
like,
Ledger.
yeah,
It's easy.
I
Yeah.
don't even
Wait,
know the
Mark Hamill?
what?
there was Jack
on real quick.
Nicholson in the old school
Wait,
one,
no, that's
too.
a video game. You can't. No. The
No,
actual
not video
movies.
game, not video game. He did the animated series too. So if we're doing
Yeah,
Joker's
Mark
voice,
That's
Hamill.
okay.
Joker
okay,
voice?
animated.
Joker voice Mark Hamill, but Joker overall acted. It's Heath
I'd say
Ledger. There's
Heath
no other
Ledger, yeah.
answer.
Yeah, I
All
like
right.
Heath too.
I think there's a drastic difference between voiceover acting and
All I know
actually
is
acting.
Jared
Fair,
Leto
fair,
was
but
my
Andy
least
Serkis
favorite.
wins.
I think Heath Ledger, hands down, he made me actually enjoy the Batman movies. Well,
Well,
Batman
Nobody-
movies.
look at that!
That's
It
why
brought a
still
Marvel
to this day
fan to
one of my favorite
DC.
Wait,
Listen,
Yeah,
Hey,
man, I
friend.
was mad when they
Wait,
got rid of
wait.
my boy Christian Bell.
Hear
Okay,
me out. Why can't you have your cake and eat it too? Why can't we like both? Why do
Yeah.
you have to like?
dude,
it's just
I've
like it's like
tried.
the
I've
console
tried
war
to
to me.
like
It
both
makes
si-
no
but
sense.
you
It
can only
never
like
makes sense.
PlayStation.
no,
not
no.
Xbox,
Can I explain my
Yeah,
point
go
of
ahead.
view here?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I like the Christian Bell Batmans with the Dark Knight Rises. I love Bane. Tom Hardy's my man. All that, and then they got rid of obviously
They wanted to start
Christian
the
Bell,
universe.
and then they wanted to start the universe to compete with Marvel, and I was like, oh, this could be cool. It's just their movies are okay. They
Did
were
you watch the
never
Snyder Cut?
great.
Watch the Snyder Cut. It might change your mind.
Yeah, whoa, time out.
But like Suicide Squad, I thought they had a good thing going. I don't know.
The second one was great. Did you watch that?
The second one was pretty good. I like the second one. The
It
first
was-
one,
it
Very
was
fun.
good. I enjoyed
the first
it.
one
Yeah.
was good for the first half. Then it went to shit.
Yeah. I mean, I love Margot Robbie. She kept me going in all of the movies.
She's still keeping you going, huh?
Sit down.
Yeah.
Barbara.
No, so wait, let me weigh in for just real quick though. So like me, Tim. So the Batman portion, I agree with you, Matt, on have your cake and eat it too. I like them both. I love them both. I'm good with both of them. However, going back to the Joker real quick and talking about that, I highly doubt that any of us would be sitting here saying, man, Batman has the best villains if it wasn't for the 2008 The Dark Knight. If it wasn't for that movie,
Yeah.
I don't think we would all be in agreement that, like, man, Batman has the best villains. And don't
No,
get me
I
wrong,
agree.
there's a lot of video games that support that, but because of that, I have to go with Heath Ledger. Hey, wait, time out, because I want to keep going on this
I
whole
agree.
thing. Okay, you asked about the Batman trailer. I thought it was savage, and here's my thing. I didn't even get a response actually to the Knights thing, the Gotham Knights. I think it will be successful because Batman is such an overbearing character that to have him out of there, it's all about the story. If they could show the story with regards to, like if that can have a little bit of momentum and you can enjoy it, you can enjoy playing as Nightwing or Robin or Batgirl or whatever. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. However, I do want to say the going back to the movie, Robert Pattinson, I agree with you, Matt. Okay, Twilight guy, got it. We all said the same thing about Ben Affleck being Batman. When we saw him on film, we were like, man, that guy's fucking massive. And he is looking down on Superman. That's pretty
Batfleck
badass.
was sick.
Right? You were like, that's cool. And everybody was like, oh, well, you have XYZ. I think Pattinson could do a great job given the noir that they're going with it. I think this is going to be savage. And I'm going to use that word continuously on this podcast.
I hope.
I think it's going to be savage
Sound my
and
nephew.
very comparable to the Joker. When the movie The Joker came out and I went and saw it in theaters, I was just set back because I was like, holy crap, this guy is killing people like a real life, psycho. Like he was, it was insane. It was real. And whenever I saw the trailer that Matt Reeves put out recently, where you see a guy's face duct taped, which is old, we've all seen that, but you're like, okay, let's think about this. This guy's actually duct taping people's faces, killing them. Batman's like a detective in a young situation where the police department's his friend right now, which is interesting. And then you see the actual trailer they just put out where he's taking gunshots to his armor and still going after people and electrocuting their necks. And you're like,
it looks good. I thought it looked
that's
good.
pretty that's dark. That's not that's not your Michael Keaton Batman that's going there and saving everybody. You're absolutely right. I feel like Robert Pattinson's past is kind of restoring a little bit of what the Dark Knight was. In comparison to where Ben Affleck for the Batman vs Superman saga and how that went about. I just feel like, they're getting back on the tracks, and I feel that Matt Reeves is going to elevate this to the status of what the Joker was. I think
you're
it's
right
gonna be
about
good.
Savage, because the very first trailer they put out, whenever he was just beating the shit out of one of them, he said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Vengeance." That was sweet.
That was a good scene. I like that myself.
Here's one thing that's totally meaningless to everyone else except me. His haircut's so fucking. What's going on there? Like, he's a billionaire. You can't get a better haircut.
Yeah.
It's a bad.
I have a theory
haircut.
on that. I got a theory on that. I honestly think they're doing that because they're setting him up for a three movie franchise.
Okay.
And it's going
where he
for
looks
him
really
to
young
evolve.
here.
And his hair is going to get better each movie.
And he's got to evolve, right? There's got to be something that you see different about him. Yeah. Whereas with Christian Bale, you really didn't see too much different with him other than he had
that's why they showed you,
and he couldn't speak, right?
Well, they showed you him all beat up and broken. He
showed up day one on looking like greatness, and he finished on his final day greatness.
No, if you remember,
Batman ever.
No, but if you remember in Dark Knight Rises, he had a lot of injuries. He had a lot of problems. He had to use that leg brace to even, use his leg.
Because
correctly.
Tom Hardy is a
Did you
beast. Well, my bad.
See, listen.
Bane.
Did you ever read that apparently they wanted to do a separate arc with just the Joker? So there was supposed to be like the Dark Knight, and then there were supposed to be 2 more movies after that with the Joker.
Yeah,
and then the 5th movie was supposed to be 8 years later, and he's beat the fuck up, and like he's really trying to be the Batman again, but he can't figure out how. So they kind of had to skip that because Heath Ledger's death. They didn't want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm assuming they were doing that with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
So
they
that's
couldn't
why that
replace
movie
him.
felt so off, and like. My buddy was telling me this, and I don't know if there's even an article. He was explaining this to me, but I trusted his opinion. This kid was really into comics and stuff. So I trusted what he said, and like that makes a lot of sense. That it was set up to be a Batman that went on for 15 years, and at the 15th year is when he fought Bane and really struggled to be Batman.
But I'm saying whenever at the end of that trailer, when he pulls off the tarp off the Batmobile and loses his mind behind the scenes, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see the 1992 Batman Returns Batmobile. I'm very excited for that.
Well, here, before Timmy got a run, let's talk real quick. They released the Uncharted movie trailer. Now, some of us played Uncharted. For those of us that didn't, it's kind of like Indiana Jones. Tom Holland plays Nathan Drake. Mark Wahlberg, he was brought on to play the apprentice, Sully, or his, teacher. They also have a lot of stars, such as Sophia Taylor-Ali, Antonio Banderas, Tatia Gabrielle. I mean, the trailer looked good. Can they actually escape the film game to movie adaptation ploy? Like, can they be something more than just, the game on TV?
I'll take over. Yeah, absolutely. I think they can. They brought the best cast in they could have possibly come up with.
It's a lot of star
great.
power there.
Oh, and I mean, Tom Holland alone is fantastic. And then you got Mark Wahlberg, who has... Oh, Timmy left.
Yeah, I guess
Should I wait?
Guess he really had to go.
I didn't know he had to leave. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drag on the last topic. But
No, that's
Mark
all right.
Mark Wahlberg has carried his own movies, and he's a very good actor. He does comedies and he does, action really well. And then you got Tom Holland, who doesn't seem to miss. Like, nothing he puts out is bad.
As long as he doesn't leak it.
Yeah. Which is even funny that he even did leak some things. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, I don't know. I saw the trailer. I liked how they brought in big set pieces like they had in the games.
Yeah.
Like, it looks
which
like
is-
a big,
I've played
production.
through those games, and I kept saying every time, like, this would be a great movie. This would be a great movie. This would be a great movie. And then they announced the movie years ago. Again, they announced a lot of these movies years ago, and like, I hate when I see these announcements because I know they're years off. And when they announced it, I was like, this would be the perfect video game movie to change that stigma of being bad movies. Tomb Raider wasn't bad, but Tomb Raider also
The
you didn't
reboot.
connect enough. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, one with
Yeah.
what's her name? Alexander Vicar, or whatever her name is.
Yeah, I have to
Great.
say, I really liked that movie. I thought it was really good.
I messed that up. It's Vikander.
Vikander, yeah,
Anyways,
that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
She was great, but the movie kind of lacked. I mean, as
So,
long as
would-
you can match the set pieces in the game a little bit, I think you have a good movie.
Yeah, well, that was gonna be my point. Is these games take what hours to beat, right? But
Well,
say
yeah.
10, 12 hours. Say you have a great run through,
20,
basically.
usually 20
Say
hours.
20 hours to beat a game, and then you try to make a movie, try to dumb it down to like 2.5 hours.
Yep, you nail it
good
on
point.
nail on the head right there, Fran. You take 15 hours to 20 hours and you pack it into 2, and you expect everyone to kind of
No. Do you think they should do a trilogy? Like, well, not. I guess
Yeah.
a trilogy. Like
Yeah,
a
I think they're
Uncharted
trying
1,
to.
2, 3.
Did you notice in the trailer they talked about his brother and then mentioned the necklace? We probably won't
Sam,
see
yeah.
a brother in this movie at all because in the games you don't see the brother until the 4th one.
Yeah, so
So,
they
like-
probably are setting up a series.
Yeah, which I hope to God that works because Mark Wahlberg's great, Tom Holland's great. I'm in for it.
Yeah.
Down for it.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I think the video games fell in movie form because you try to dumb it down to 2.5 hours, and it's like you missed a lot of the big stuff.
I was gonna mention that to you, Chris. Mostly is that. Did you hear they announced Splinter Cell, like a new Splinter Cell?
I heard that there was one rumored. I didn't hear that they actually announced it.
I guess they didn't announce it. It's a rumor, but I hope it's true because I'm desperate for a new one. So, honestly, if they're not going to come out with a new Splinter Cell, at least remaster Chaos Theory. That was one of the best stealth games of all time. Like, I wouldn't mind a remaster.
Yeah, so there's rumors that the new one's coming out. I mean, it's been, 10 years? Like, they should be coming out with a new one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's their property. I mean, you see leaks. In Rainbow Six, they had Sam Fisher as a playable character. In that X Defiant, there was something where you could play as, somebody from Splinter Cell. I forget who
In
it
that
was.
one Ghost Recon game, you could play
Yeah.
Sam Fisher. They keep using him. And
Yeah,
it's like
they still
come
use
on
the
with your own.
property. So we'll
Everyone
see. Maybe
loves Sam Fisher.
maybe we'll get a new one. Speaking of older games coming back around, Dan actually brought this to my attention this week, but I did see it myself. God of War is coming to PC in January. We also got Horizon Zero Dawn. There were talks
Days
that they're
Gone.
bringing Days Gone. Yeah, a lot of games. Now, granted,
Oh, and Uncharted 4 as well. That's coming out.
which was a great game. We were just talking Uncharted. But granted, God of War is almost 4 years old now. So is that a good time to bring it to PC? Like everybody that wanted to buy it on PlayStation, I mean, they had
Probably
their
already
chance,
bought
right?
it already. I
So
mean,
is
they
this-
pushed out PS4 games, so like I don't think these are hurting PS5 sales. So I see no problem with them doing that at all.
I don't either,
Especially-
but it seems like a lot of PlayStation fans are against this. They're really mad
Because
about it.
because they want bragging rights. It's just console fans who are like, yeah, we got exclusives. PlayStation's the way to go, and they were making fun of Xbox when Xbox put their games on PC.
It
So
goes
now they're
back
all
to-
salty that like games are coming to PC from their console.
It goes back to what I just said earlier. Why can't we just have our cake and eat it too? Like, why
I
can't we
agree.
put these games on
Yeah.
the platform?
And I
cares
think
who's
that's
winning,
the
who's
whole.
losing?
Well, that's the whole thing. Phil Spencer says he's
We're
trying to
winning,
get it to
Matt.
everyone.
We're winning.
The consumer is winning.
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
exclusives
it's
are
fine. I mean,
anti-consumer. Fuck
now-
them. Like you should be able to play where you want to play.
The
I
only
agree.
thing I have, like the only question I have is the next God of War going to be straight to PC?
That
or
is a good question. They didn't announce it. What I think might happen is like
well, that would base my purchase on a PS5 or not, because the day that game comes out is the day I spend the $700.
That's it.
I want to play it
Yeah.
so bad.
Matt's PS5 purchase hangs in the balance
I
on this
cannot-
one thing.
Listen, I was so upset to beat the last God of War that I was like, God damn it, I want to play the next right now. I should have waited. I wish I would have just waited until they were both out and I could have played
You,
it.
These
you
are-
couldn't wait though. You had to play it then when
Well,
it
no,
came
no,
out.
the thing-
needed it.
I waited 3 years after the game came out to even try it, and then I
Oh,
tried it.
I
And I was like, "Fuck,
thought you
love
got it
this
right
game."
away.
No, I played it. I just beat it like it was a year ago, right now, because I remember getting a Goblerito at fucking Mad Max, and I came home and played that.
to answer your question, Matt. I think either they're just gonna release the first game in the series on PC to entice people to buy a PS5, or they're gonna release the game years after the PS5 after the sales go down. They're definitely not gonna release it like day one like Xbox, unfortunately.
Well, here's the
no.
thing. I'll
I
go
don't see
steal
that.
my nephew's PlayStation 5 for a week. And
There you go.
I think that's what I'm gonna have to do.
I'll be
Well, how
honest.
long
I
does
see
it
it the way
take-
Dan sees it.
How long does it take to beat God of War?
20
I put
hours.
Probably. I'd say I
Is
put
it an
30
open
hours
world
into
game?
it, but I tried to make it slow. So it is open world. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
Okay.
side missions and like, I mean,
So
open world,
just
but
take
it's
your
like an
nephew's
annoying open world.
take your nephew's PlayStation for like a week.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
plan
just
on
beat
doing
the
that for
game.
Spider-Man too. I told my sisters that because I'm helping my sister right now try to find one of my nephews PlayStation this year. I said, listen, if I'm the one who buys this, I'm stealing it for a week to play Spider-Man 2, and I'll just pretend that I'm getting it fixed for him. But I only did it because they released an hour early for Power Up members, so I was going
Yeah.
on there to try to win for my nephew, and I was like, if I would have got it and my sister would have got it, I would have bought it then. But like, I'm not going out of my way at all to get this.
I
Because
signed
there's
up on
nothing right now that
PlayStation.com.
makes me want to play it. So I'm just trying to help my nephew for Christmas because he keeps going, Santa's gonna get me it. God, I hope he does.
You're like, please,
It's so
Santa,
bad
come
Christmas
through.
otherwise.
Come through for this poor kid.
That'll be the day you realize that Santa ain't real when you don't get that PlayStation.
He's gonna clutch his fist in the mirror and say, Santa's not
Like
fucking
that,
around.
motherfucker.
He's gonna turn around and look at his mom and go, he's not fucking. Hey, if there's a little kid listening to this, Walter, I'm talking to you. Santa's not real, pal. There's your shout out.
Walter gets his shout out. And to close it up for the week, we got the pop question. Now, if you guys could have any video game character as your friend in real life,
Can I go first? I'll
yeah,
go
go
first.
ahead.
All right, so I thought about you asked me this before we started recording, and I was thinking about it, and the more we talked about Uncharted, the more I want Nathan Drake to be my friend, and I want to go explore and find some fucking treasure.
Nice. All
So
right.
Nathan Drake for sure. That's mine.
I would say, I'm a Resident Evil fan, so I'm gonna say Leon because he's a good buddy to get all the women, and he could protect me from this fucking.
He's a good
zombies, so-
wingman.
Yeah, basically. So I'll say Leon.
All right.
Dan's looking for pussy. I'm looking for treasure.
What about you, Fran?
I don't know, man. I was thinking about
Someone
this,
from
and
Call of Duty. Come on, is it Mason or whatever?
No,
So
no,
Matt
no.
Tavish.
What do the numbers mean?
What are the
No.
numbers?
He's just gonna have
Wait.
episodes. He's gonna have
Hey,
random
hey,
episodes where he
hey.
starts shooting your friends.
Hey, if it's from Call of Duty, I'm picking Mara all day. Okay.
No, it should be Captain Price, dude. Every
But,
guy has a hard on for him.
So,
I know,
what the hell kind of
I
name
think
is
I would
Soap?
pick Master Chief. I grew up with the guy. He was my boy. I named my
Master
first
Chief.
gamer tag after him.
I like
Spartan
that.
117.
No, he said 187. He didn't even know the fucking number.
He didn't know. I knew it. I would have to say, I'm not
Wait,
doing
Master
it to.
Spartan 117 was a great gamer tag. Okay, that was as
I would
close
have
as
to
I could
say,
get to Master Chief.
I'm not doing it to follow Matt, but I would say the Uncharted series. But I would say Solly because he knew what he was doing. I'd like to
Womanizer.
sit
And
down.
he was a womanizer.
Yeah, he knew how to pick up the
Said you're
ladies. He
looking for
knew how
pussy
to
too.
find the
I just want gold.
treasure.
All right.
He knew how to do it. Actually, if you're talking women, then just pick Tomb Raider. Just hang out with her. I'm sure she got a lot of hot friends, right?
I
Or
said
she's
Mara.
just a
Why couldn't I
giant
hang out
bitch.
with her? Hey,
No, I
Master
think
Chief
Sully
got
would be a
Cortana,
fun
okay?
character.
I got a
You know
robot
what?
chick.
This question kind of pisses
You got
me off
AI
because
in your head.
it'll be Wednesday next week, and I'm
And
gonna
you'll think of a
listen to
good
this
one.
back, and I'm gonna go, motherfucker, I should have said this. I know it's gonna happen next week. You'll probably hear me say my actual pick.
All right. Well, next
No.
week on episode 7, we'll pick that back up and see if you guys changed it all.
Right at the beginning. I'll probably have a different one.
Do you have another shout out for Walter? Do you
I mean, I kind of gave him one, but I'll give him a fuck you again because I missed last week. So we'll get 2 this week. So Walter, again, go fuck yourself.
I still liked it when you called him on camera. That was hilarious. And he
was
answered. All right. Well, that's going to do it for Popcast. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Adios, amigos.
See ya.